Welcome to the Advertising Forum. This is episode 3 of our Identity series, sponsored by Intent IQ.
Today we have Roy Scheddy, chairman of Intent IQ, and Gil Dedkowitz, the CEO of Start.io. We'll be chatting with Roy and Gil for episodes 3 and 4 of the series, which I'm looking forward to. Roy, Gil, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Dino.
So, Gil, this one's for you, the first question. Can you just briefly describe your role and how Start.io and Intent IQ collaborate on identity solutions specifically for publishers?
So, hey, first, thanks really for having us. I'm a CEO and founder, so basically I'm trying to do everything and anything needed. But essentially, as a third company I'm running, this one is helping to monetize app developers from each size, small, big, large, and try to help them to monetize their applications. And we're working with Roy and Intent IQ to actually help identify the users better, try to make sure that we are serving the right user with the right ad at the right time, and essentially connecting the data into the marketing and into the advertisement. We'll talk about it later on more, but really the goal is to actually make sure that we are having the right identity to the users.
When dealing with publishers, there's consistent challenges in the market. There's regulation, privacy regulation, there's disappearing cookies, third-party cookies. Can you tell me some of the biggest challenges you face and how you're addressing those? And I'll point this one towards Roy. I'd love to hear your feedback on that one.
Intent IQ has been working on the identity challenge for actually over 15 years. This is our core. We're really a technology company at heart. I would argue that one of the reasons that Intent IQ solutions in the market gain traction is because for us, consumer is always a center. We're huge believers that what's good for the consumer, that's what's good for the industry. That's where it starts, that's where it ends, actually. Regulation. Once again, we go back to the consumer. It's all about consent. For example, in the web environment, such as a cookieless environment, we will literally pick up the signal in real time from the website, whether the user accepted the cookies on the website, which includes, for the first-party cookies, because there's no third-party cookies, which will include the Intent IQ cookie, or they did not. And we will literally address it by side. You cannot be more compliant than that. In terms of technology, and then once there is the consent, the magic happens in the background with that technology that I mentioned that we've been working for over 15 years to tie it all together. That's on a high level.
So, Gil, can you speak to how Intent IQ's technology combined with Start.io's platform actually boosts monetization and audience insights for the publishers across the ecosystem?
Yeah, I'll go into it. I'm basically Roy speaking about the users, and I'm speaking a bit about the publishers. And if you really look on what the publisher is good about, and when I'm saying publishers, can be a news publisher, can be a game publisher, weather, name it, okay? What they are really good about is creating amazing content. They are not into understanding what's the compliance that they need to do in terms of regulations, in terms of identity, in terms of privacy, many other things. We are looking today in a global village of publishers that maybe in France or India or Italy or the US or anywhere else, and the users are global. And the same as they're using advertising a platform like us in order to actually monetize it, they are trusting companies like us as well for making sure that we know the regulation, because they usually, they're amazing people, they're amazing companies. It's not their core competency. So that's part of where we are coming into. And we are working with Roy and Intent IQ in order to make sure that we actually know the users, we know the identity. Obviously, all of it anonymous, but we know what ad to serve to whatever user to make sure that they get essentially higher CPM and more revenue, because that's what they're coming to us for.
First of all, we love working with Start.io. One of the things I love about Start.io and Gil in particular, very strict. They're following the rules. It's important to them to do the right thing. It's also important to us. I think there's a great fit in that culture. And together, we're providing value for the publisher And that value enables the publisher to provide value for the consumer, because it's targeted advertising is responsible for approximately 50 to 70% of the revenue of the typical publisher. And that 50 to 70% of targeted advertising means the person is targeted based on information that was collected on other websites and apps. This is exactly where our identity, which is being injected by Start.io into the bid stream, brings value to the entire chain. Now the publisher, once again, it's all cookie based. No, we don't know who's the actual person. Privacy is maintained, but nevertheless, the SSP and then the DSP, it says, oh, that person actually searched for a flight ticket 2 days ago, car insurance a week ago, and then the targeted ad is being delivered. How significant is it to the publisher? Well, if we go to some imaginary website called news.com, the same user visiting that device with an iPhone and with an Android device simultaneously, news.com will make 3x as much revenues from that visitor